For Alan Carter, good afternoon. I'm Arlene Bynon, and talking about change, this pandemic, what a year it has been, and nobody knows where the path forward is. Certainly not for Rod Phillips. We will keep you informed as we go in and out of our convo this afternoon. One of the things we want to talk about is where people are going to live, and we're going to look at this today from two perspectives. And one of them is the real estate market, the condo market. And what did the pandemic do? Like, if you're like me, you look around and go, okay, everywhere we see in the skyline all these cranes, and it's always been a badge of honor for the city of Toronto. Well, who's buying the condos? What about those who don't go downtown anymore? Do you really want a condo if you're not going into the office? Is everybody going to go back to the office? Deval Morrison is joining us, sales representative for Bosley Real Estate Limited Brokerage. And Deval, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me, Arlene.
All right. The condo market, it was boom, 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 along with the housing market here. What's happened under COVID? It's getting, we're getting word of, can we call it a disaster, or how would you describe it?
I wouldn't say that it's a disaster, but I would say that people's lifestyle choices have changed. And when people were locked down the first time around, people realized how much more space they wanted to live in. They're going to have to work from home. They're working out from home. If they've got kids, they're schooling their kids at home. And so that's one of the reasons why we've seen the housing market increase so much, because everybody wants space. But it's also the reason why we've seen the decline in the condo market, because everybody's leaving the condo for greater space. And you've got renters that are leaving their condos, some of them just to move in with their parents' place or live at their parents' cottage just to save money. But everybody right now seems to crave space. So I think it's going to be really interesting now that we're in a second lockdown. And after Christmas, I would think that the exact same thing is going to happen again in the next couple of months when we're out of lockdown.
It may intensify it. You know, I have a friend who was looking for a house and really now is saying things like, you know, I could live here and I could live here and I could live here, you know, and really was a downtown brown and not so much anymore, saying if I'm going to work like this and my wife's going to work from home, I need space. Deval, what kind of a mindset has this put upon those who are investors or owners of condos?
Well, I mean, I think it's so a lot of investors of condos have had to sell their condos because their tenants have moved out. So their tenants have moved out. Some people some investors haven't been able to get new tenants to move in because the rental prices have come down quite significantly. And, you know, I have a couple of clients where their properties are literally just sitting empty because we've had such a hard time getting tenants, qualified tenants, to come in, and we just keep reducing the price. So it's really affected the rental market significantly. I think what's interesting is, you know, a couple of weeks ago, everyone was like, yay, the vaccine's coming, our life is going to be back to normal.
Right.
But then, A, the second lockdown, B, the second strain of COVID. So I think that this lockdown, you know, we're told to stay home for a month. Is it really going to be a month? Is it going to be 2 months? Is it going to be 3 months? And now I think that is going to start weighing on people, and it's going to change their mindset yet again.
You know, I think it's true. And is there a sense that we kind of just don't know where this is going to go? It has always been up, up, up and away like a balloon, the housing market. And everyone, you know, after 10 years of it said it can't go. And it did, and it did, and it did. But this is something different. It's put a lid on it. It is just like, as I said before, it's like Pompeii, you know, and boom. And the lava flowed and everything was different.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think now, you know, people are there was a big spread in the paper, I think yesterday, about the Spanish flu from 1918. And then we look back at the 1920s and the roaring 20s and what a great time everyone was having. And I think now we're thinking, oh, now we understand. When we get out of lockdown and we get the vaccine, we're going to be partying like it's, you know, partying
right.
Crazy as well too, right? Everybody wants out. But, you know, the other thing with this second strain is that now we're stopping flights from the UK. And quite frankly, our government probably needs to just stop flights from all countries right now. And, you know, the one thing that was really driving that condo market is immigration and international students. So if we're not accepting flights, then, you know, that's absolutely going to have an effect on the condo market. Go ahead.
What do you think is going to happen here? You know, this is the time of year we look forward, what do you think honestly is going to happen? Are these rents going to go back up? Are they going to go down? Or investment going to change? Because it's happened before. We've seen, jingle mail. We know from 2008, stuff can go wrong very quickly.
Absolutely. I mean, I think literally right before our lockdown, people were actually starting to buy condos again. Because every time I was about to go show a condo, I was getting told, oh, it's sold, it's been sold, it's been sold. So there was a little bit of an uptick, but that's where I think that, the second lockdown will cause people to think a little bit. But for first-time buyers, it's still a really good opportunity for them because now prices are down and now they can still negotiate. So I think it depends on where you are in the market. If you are a seller, you might just want to hold on a little bit longer. If you're a buyer, you might want to get into the market before the market gets up too much and you can't get back into the market.
So what do you think? I mean, is this permanent then, or is this just the blip when it came down after the pandemic?
It's a blip. I mean, you were always told that all markets are cyclical, right? So this is just another cycle. Things go up, things go down, things go up, things go down. It's not to say that anything is going to be depressed for any long period of time. It'll be, down for a little bit and then it'll go back up again. And the prices will be higher than what they are now. I mean, ultimately, long-term, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, I absolutely believe in the Toronto real estate market.
Now, what do you say, though, big time on this? You mentioned it. People are moving out, living in their parents' cottages. Some people are buying cottages to live in. People are thinking, you know what? I can move from here and there. I'm not saying anything everybody doesn't know, but what surprises me, DeVal, is the amount of people who are saying it to me, people who I thought needed that corner coffee shop, which isn't there anymore, maybe say. There's less of them. And now they're going, you know what? I could live here, there, anywhere.
Do you know what I think is interesting? I think that people have a short-term memory. And I think that once people spend a winter in the small towns that they've moved out to, they will rethink the small town thing. Because I think it sounds really nice in the summertime when you can go for walks and you can see the water. But right now it's cold, and it's going to be cold for the next few months. And spending a cold winter in any one of these small towns or far-flung places, not so pretty. And, once we do get the vaccine, people will come back down into the city again. People will be out and about. They'll be doing their thing. They'll be enjoying coffee because they can. Because they'll remember a time when they couldn't do those things. But it truly in their hearts, they love doing those things, and they will go back to doing them.
DeVal Morrison, thank you. Good luck, sales representative, Bosley Real Estate Limited Brokerage. Thank you, DeVal.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
All right. If people change, as I was listening to DeVal, they were saying, in these small towns. Well, I don't know. I've spent a lot of time in small towns, and I didn't grow up in one at all. I mean, to me, the Hammer was too small of a town. I couldn't hardly wait to get into the city of Toronto. And then, bought a few little pieces of acreage and little farms north of the city and missed them all. Lived in really small towns or not even near a town. And maybe they'll discover something that they didn't know. That, there's not a ton of so-called action-packed things that they can do, but there's way more other things. I wouldn't trade that forever or at all. And maybe this is going to happen because it did many years ago. There was an influx. When I first came to the city of Toronto, a lot of people were leaving downtown and flooding the small towns and the country villages. That's what they wanted. So who knows? I don't think everybody is going to, and I think she's right. But I do think it's a shift, and it's not going to change all that quickly and revert back. That elastic band has been stretched.